Hello and welcome back to yet another video. Today we're going to be showing you how to make fish pie. This is a pretty simple recipe. It's great for the busy nights when you come home late and you don't know what to cook. You can always whip up some of this fish pie. It's fairly straightforward to prepare, and that's what we'll be showing you today. So here, as you can see, we have 3 to 4 pounds of basa fish, which is what you see here in this case. And we've also added in for this recipe half a cup of corn, as you can see here. The fish is kind of mashed up. You can mash it up into smaller pieces if you want. Next we'll be showing you how to prepare the sauce for this before we place it in the oven. So before we make this sauce, I forgot to mention, but you want to boil this fish along with the corn. And once you've boiled it, then this is the end result, as you can see here. And now let's show you how to prepare the sauce. So we start first with 1 tablespoon of butter. Put that on the pan here, and we've got it on medium heat. You'll want to ensure you have it on medium heat as well. Next we'll be adding half a teaspoon of garlic. And this, by the way, is just blended up garlic, or garlic paste in other words. You can throw that in a blender and that's the end result. 1 teaspoon of green chilies, again, all nicely blended up with a mix of water. 1/4 teaspoon of salt is what we'll be adding next. There goes that in there. 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Add that to the mix. And 2 tablespoons of white flour is what we'll be adding next. But before we do, we'll just get this all nice and mixed up. Just like that, again on medium heat. Drop it down if it's on high. So here comes our 2 tablespoons of white flour. Add a generous serving. Half a mug of milk. And mix it all up. Till you get a thick, consistent paste, you'll basically want to keep mixing this all up. And we'll show you what that paste looks like. You want to make sure you mix it nice and good to get rid of any clumps of flour. And by the way, this is the sauce we're going to be pasting all over the chicken and corn mix I showed you earlier. Turn off the heat. And we are good. So in the next shot, I'll show you how to mix all this with the fish. And then once we've done that, we should be able to put the fish in the oven and bake it for about half an hour. Now that you have the sauce ready, you want to shred about 400 grams of cheese. That's what we have here. Any cheese should work fine. In this case, we're using cheddar cheese, but mozzarella will work fine. Really anything you have will work fine. If you want, you can even get creative and experiment with different kinds of cheese. Really anything should work fine for this recipe. Next, we'll just be adding this fish corn mix into this bigger bowl here so it's easier to manage. It's always a good idea to use a bigger bowl so you can add your cheese in there, your sauce in there, and you have lots of space. So we're going to throw in all of that cheese which we grated earlier, just like that. Mix it all in. And finally, we're going to be adding the sauce into the mix. We're just adding a couple drops of water because the sauce was a little too thick. If you want, you can do the same for sure. So here comes the sauce next. Next step, we're going to be mixing this all up. And there's no right way to do this. Just take your spoon or whatever you have, your spatula, and just mix everything, mash it all up, do whichever way you want. Just get it all nicely mixed up so that there's consistency from top to bottom. You don't want to have all that cheese hanging around at the top, so it's always a good idea to just take some extra time, mix everything up just like that, and take a few minutes to do that. Okay, so when you've got it all nice and mixed up in that big bowl, that's what we used, you can transfer it all into a bowl like this, because this is what we're going to be placing inside the oven to bake. And this is what you should have if you mixed it all up and spent the time to actually mix it all up. So it doesn't really look that tasty, but I guarantee you this is a very tasty dish. You'll see that once it comes out of the oven. Right now it just kind of looks like mashed fish, but when you try it, you will be pleasantly surprised. And if you have some cheese left that you didn't end up using, you can always top off your bowl by adding some more shredded cheese. It's always a good idea to maybe save some actually for this purpose. So add some cheese right to the top, sprinkle some over just like that. And this is now perfect to go in the oven. Throw that in the oven. And we're going to be setting it on 350 degrees F. If you can't quite see it there, but that's how high we're going to be cooking it on. And once it's ready, we will pull it out of the oven and show you what that looks like. One thing to add about cooking this in the oven, make sure you cook it 350 F for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes and 350 degrees F. And at that point it should be ready. Pull it out, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll show you what ours looks like. Okay, so here's what it looks like when we've pulled it out of the oven and it's all ready, and it's now ready to serve. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. When you do try out this recipe, leave a comment and let me know how it went. And stay tuned for more videos. If you're new here, then subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.